All right. Hello, everyone. Bonjour, good evening, and namaste. Uh, Welcome to the second webinar session. My name is Vikash Golla. I'm the Campus France Manager here in Mumbai, and I will be moderating today's very interesting webinar titled The Big Data Revolution is Here. We will be covering everything from, data analytics, big data, its relevance, and of course, the reasons why it's turning out to be such a lucrative career option for many of you. So let me just quickly introduce our three panelists for this session. So firstly, we have Miss Eléonore Homasson from HEC, who is the recruitment manager for Middle East, India, and North and Western Europe.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet all of you for this exciting webinar. I think that Vikash presented me, so yeah, you know everything about me.
Thank you. We have our second panelist, Professor Yann Busnel from IMT Atlantique, who is the full professor and head of network systems, cybersecurity, and digital law department.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm very glad to be there with you today.
Great. And finally, we have Professor Louis-David Benyayer from ESCP, who is the permanent affiliate professor, information and operations management.
Hello to everyone. Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you to all the panelists. And of course, let's dive right into the session without wasting any time and listen to what the experts themselves have to say. And of course, for the students who have joined in, please do write your questions in the chat box. We'll try to take them towards the end of the session. Okay, so my first question would be for Professor Yann Busnel, followed by Professor Louis-David Benyayer. So if you could both tell me what exactly is big data, starting with Professor Yann Busnel, please.
Thank you. Big data is finally the natural evolution of the statistics analysis that we had in the 90s. And so the idea is that with the explosion of the data created by all the websites, all the web servers, and all the consumer database, etc., and Web 2.0 and the creation of social networks, we start to need to evaluate and analyze all this data very fastly in an efficient way, and in order to help decision maker or to create new services that was not existing before. And this is for me how big data has been created, and this is finally my definition of big data. It's at the carrefour of the statistics, the computer science, and the know-how.
Okay, and thank you, Professor Benyayer. Big data for you in terms of you teaching the subject at ESCP, please.
Well, Yann already did a pretty good job at defining what it is, right? Well, it's a field of study. It's a field of study first, what we can say. And Yann said about how to extract, store, and analyze all the data produced manually or by connected devices. So that's one way of defining it. And maybe the other way of rephrasing what has been said is it's a business phenomenon. And that's also what's interesting about this, is that it blends both dimensions, technology evolution, techniques, and IT evolutions. And these evolutions have a major impact on how businesses are organized and what kind of services they offer, and how the competition is organized in all markets, not only digital markets.
Right. Coming to Ms. Homasson, if you could tell me what is the program that HEC has to offer? And of course, if I'm a student and want to apply to your program, on what parameters are you evaluating the students for shortlisting them?
Well, at HEC Paris, we offer a wide range of program, especially master's program. We have 2 years and 1 year program, but maybe today I'm going to focus on the one related to big data and data, the MSc Data Science for Business. So especially for this program, we're looking for a student with a well-balanced combination of different skills. We're looking, of course, for academic excellence, but we are also looking for international exposure, their work experiences, extracurricular activities, and their motivation. So this is really the well-balanced combination of all these criteria that is going to be important for us, in addition to their strong quantitative analytical skills.
Right. Okay. Do they need a GMAT as well for this program?
Yes, they need a GMAT as well for this program because it's a 2-year program. First year at Polytechnique, which is one of the top engineering school, and the second year is at HEC Paris. So the first year is more has more technical approach, and then of data, and then during the second year they have a more business approach. They need a GMAT because for the first year it's quite tough in terms of courses related to analytical and quantitative skills, and the GMAT is a way for us to assess these skills.
All right, perfect. And Professor Benyayer, the same question for you. If I'm a student looking for a program at ESCP, what is it that what kind of qualities are you looking for in a student?
Well, I will speak for the program. I'm a scientific co-director too, which is the MSc in Big Data and Business Analytics. Well, of course, we're looking for applicants with a very strong academic path that showed excellence in their previous studies, whether a bachelor or a master degree. Of course, international exposure is also one criteria that we're using, and we also analyze the fit between our program and what the applicant explains as its future career goals, as well as how well is structured, let's say, the path. So academic excellence, international exposure, and consistency between what we offer as a program and what the students expresses as a career goal.
Perfect. And Professor Busnel, if you could tell me the strengths of your school, and of course, as an Indian student, what I should be looking out for if I want to apply to IMT Atlantique.
Yes, with pleasure. IMT Atlantique is one of the most famous postgraduate, more technological university. So we are a bit more an approach that is more technological than business, as the presentation, for example, from Eléonore. The idea is that we develop several programs, both in English or French, and I can just have a focus on a specific program that is an international MSc, Master of Science, in information technology. And inside this Master of Science of information technology, we have 3 different tracks. And one track is dedicated to data science. Another track is for IoT, and other tracks is for communication system. But the one that we are looking for today in this webinar is more the data science track, because it's really there that you will learn all the machine learning technologies, all the statistical base, and the programming skills that will help you to become a data scientist and a big data expert in terms of really becoming an expert into the IT group, for example, that use this kind of big data requirements. So the commitment and the prerequisite that we want to offer, as well as I said, it's a Master of Science. So the idea is having a Bachelor of Science, or BTech or B Engineering in computer science with strong background in mathematics, or at the opposite, in mathematics, but with some skills in programming. So you have to be let's say, a bit with two main skills if you want to apply to this program.
Okay, perfect. So Indian students with a 3-year bachelor's degree are also eligible to apply, correct?
Yes.
All right, great to know. So my next question is for Ms. Eléonore. So the program at HEC specifically, what is it preparing the students for? And if you look at the larger picture, what sort of skills are being incorporated for them?
Yes, well, it really depends on the program, but I would say that we prepare mainly students to enter the job market. Our programs are more geared towards students who want to follow into a company after the program, then research. And that's why we try to incorporate in our program a theoretical approach and a practical and strong practical approach. What we try to incorporate is that the students have acquired all the hard skills that they need to enter in this job market, but also that they can develop some soft skills that might make the difference when they will be recruited. So that's why, in addition to the academic content that we offer, we encourage students to be involved in extracurricular activities on the campus, and we have some coaching and development programs to develop skills such as leadership, creativity, entrepreneurial spirits.
Perfect. Professor Benyayer, my same question is for you as well. So if I study at ESCP, what sort of skills am I expected to graduate with?
Once again, I'll speak for the program in big data and business analytics. Various types of skills, right? That's maybe highlight the positioning of our program. Our program is dedicated to train future professionals that will be perfect navigators between business problems and big data solutions, meaning that we have designed a curriculum that, let's say, is a hybrid curriculum between IT-related skills, business-related skills, and soft skills. So let's say IT-related skills, to use a common word, like there will be given some coding skills. We train our students on R and Python, for example. We train them on architecture, though we don't go as deep as other engineering schools in those matters, but let's say that we equip them with the necessary skills so that they're autonomous and that they can discuss and work with technical experts. The other set of skills that they're equipped with are business-oriented skills. So how to understand a business problem, how to decompose those business problems into variables, and understanding and diagnosing a business situation, which has nothing to do with IT or tech, but let's say that is necessary after if you want to build a solution on this. And then the third type of skills that, third set of skills that we're equipping our students with is related to soft skills. Actually, when we build the program, we also made an inquiry, like everyone does, on what was the missing on the market, right? And on the market, there are some offers and very good programs specialized in IT and data science with hard coding skills and hard modeling skills. So this is, but there is less in companies availability of talents for working in groups around a business problems, leveraging both business expertise, technical expertise, IT expertise, etc. And this refers to soft skills. So we're training our students on communication skills, entrepreneurial skills, teamwork skills. We're doing this through the pedagogy. It's not always labeled as a class course, let's say, but through the pedagogy that we're using, we're training our students to leverage those skills, tech skills, business skills, and soft skills.
Oh, perfect. So it's essentially a multidisciplinary approach that you have, preparing them for the real world.
Exactly.
Right. Very nice. So my next question is for Professor Busnel again. So if you could sort of paint me a picture, and tell me, typically if I graduate from your program or from your experience of seeing the students who have already graduated, so what sort of typical career paths do they end up in, and what sort of companies can I expect to be hired in as well?
You have to know that we are a technical university that is belongs to the Ministry of Industry in France. So we are very, very close to the industry and to a lot of groups that hire finally our students. And during the program, during the 2-year program, they have some courses that is for sure scientific and technical and some management courses, but we have a lot of training for the corporate world course and a lot of projects. And all the projects are provided by company and by by partners that give them a real world program. And so they can developed some relationship with this company during the program. So at the end, we have a lot of career opportunity in large group, like for example in Siemens, Bosch, or in bank, for example with BNP Paribas and Société Générale, who are really a close partner to us, and also with some industrial, with Dassault or Thales, a naval group that are hiring a lot our students. So having a very interesting career in this large group is very interesting. But not only, we have incubators on site, and we have a lot of students that create their own company and starts a new adventure as an entrepreneur, and we can accompany them, and we have some very nice history from an Indian student that developed a company actually here in Brest, in our campus of Brest, in the western part of Brittany, and he just sold his company with more than several million of euros based on the activity that he has made during his PhD after a master in our school, in our institution. So we have also some very nice story, so we are very glad to say that all our diploma get employed less than 6 months after the diplomation, and a lot of them is hired before the end of the diplomation. So they can have very, very interesting career. And with the evolution of the IT today, we know that with the raising of artificial intelligence, for example, they will have a really interesting career path, I think.
Thank you for those insights. Same question for Ms. Eléonore as well. What are typically the careers your graduates choose? And of course, what is the role of HEC in all of this? Is there like a corporate relations department where whenever there's, let's say, a job opening, do you help out the students, or how does it exactly function?
Yes, well, the first thing maybe is that, well, I don't think that there is a single career path for a student. If I focus for the career placement of a student in the MSc Data Science for Business program, we have some students who choose to pursue a position in data management, some in general management, some in consulting, and some choose to launch their own projects in diverse industries. We have students in consulting, financial services, pharmaceutical, healthcare industry. So it's quite wide in terms of opportunity, a bit like at as a ESCP, because our students are equipped with a theoretical, more theoretical and practical, and more soft skills. So that's why it's quite wide, I think. And in terms of resources, it's kind of the same. We try to give out to equip our students with a wide range of resources. They can, of course, have access to our career services, which is quite active in organizing events such such as fairs, networking events, conferences, workshops. The students also have strong connections throughout the academic year with companies because they are doing business projects. They are participating in a lot of networking events with companies from the data fields. And finally, I think that maybe the main resources that they can have at HEC and the main strengths of the school is the network, the alumni network. They are represented all over the world, and it's really a strong support for them. So we give them the resources, but then it's up to them to create the opportunities, I would say.
Right. And Professor Benyayer, along the same lines, what are the opportunities available for students? And of course, is there like an internship designed in the curriculum as well? So, you know, for students, let's say, who don't have work experience, if they do this internship, does it help them find a job later on?
Yes, sure. So of course, there is in the program an internship that takes place after the first year of study, and students have the opportunity to have an internship minimum of 4 months, maximum of 8 months. And for a large portion of them, it's a pre-recruiting internship. So a lot of our students continue working for the company as a permanent job after they're finishing their internship. Maybe to touch a bit about the career path, or let's say the job opportunities. As my colleague said, of course, there are many different career path opportunities. And most importantly, also because of the recruitment that we have in our program. We recruit a very diverse set of students. Some come from engineering schools, some come from business schools, other from universities in finance, in computer science, in humanities and social science. So you can guess that not all of them have the same desires and even opportunities. So that's why it's so hard to have one very precise job opportunities. Maybe I can just highlight the main boxes, right? So we do have some of them that go into consulting, either strategy consulting, BCG, after the little AT Kearney, or data-related consulting firms, Capgemini, Invent, Artifact, and many other players specialize in that field. Second bucket are the technology service providers in big data fields, Tableau Software, IBM, Dataiku. But all of the major, let's say, IT companies are recruiting in our program. The third box is composed of big tech companies, search engines, retail platforms, Amazon, Alibaba, and also all of the big players of the sharing economy, Didi Chuxing in China, etc. And the last box is, let's say, all the companies, non-digital native companies, but that are embarking in that journey of data transformation and that are staffing large teams in data. So we have a lot of them at L'Oréal, for example. We have a lot of them in physical retail. We have a lot of them in maritime transport. That may sound a bit rare, but there's a lot of opportunities there, etc. So consulting, IT and software, big tech companies, and let's say non-digital companies that are staffing in data.
All right.
If I may add, even if we don't have yet the exit part of the success story shared by Yann previously, some of our students do start their companies after the program. Actually, we had 2 of them that started companies in blockchain and in real estate. Well, blockchain for real estate. So that's another path, even if it's less numerous than the others that I just listed.
Okay, great to know. Miss Eléonore, so if I talk about your program, so how flexible is it, or is it a fixed curriculum that students have to follow?
No, it's not fixed. It's customizable. Usually, the students have a well combination between core courses and elective courses. More specifically in the data science for business program, during the first year at Polytechnique, which is the year during the one they acquire all the technical skills, they will have more core courses. And then at HEC Paris, during the second year with the more business approach, they will have more elective courses. And they have the opportunity to choose between two tracks during the last semester, the data entrepreneurship track, the data entrepreneurship track, and the data consulting track. So it really allows them to customize their curriculum according to their own career objectives.
Right. And would you like to answer that as well, Professor Benyayer? If I'm looking to complete the program, would I be given the option of picking some electives, or is it a set course that one has to follow?
It's we have the students have the opportunity to customize a bit their program and their curriculum through electives. We don't offer tracks, which would be specializations. Let's say we made the decision to have approximately 85% of the hours, teaching hours, that are common to all students. That's by design, because we care about developing a sense of community, and we care about having the diversity of the class leveraged. As I told you, we have a very diverse set of people, 25 nationalities. Some of them have work experience, others don't. Some of them have a bachelor, other master, etc. So that's by design that we reduced, let's say, the customization level. However, we do offer options for customization up to 15% of the working teaching work.
All right, and same for Professor Busnel as well.
Yes, as presented by my colleague here, we have also some way to customize the program. The idea is that, as I said, we have 3 tracks, and each track is dedicated to a specific specialization, at the opposite of what Louis David presented just before. But in these tracks, we have some core courses that has to be followed, but that is completely obviously chosen by all the students if they will be elective, because it's really the core of the specialization. But they have some elective courses also, and they can tune also their program by choosing specific. They have a lot of projects, individual projects, social projects, internship, company visit, and professional seminar. And all this stuff can be chosen among a large menu, and so they either should propose their own project if they have a new project, a new idea that they want to develop in the framework of a specific course, or in the framework or in a transdisciplinary project that we have also. Then they can provide their own subject if it fits with the requirement, for sure. And they can study something that they really want to. So they can also really adapt to their will the content of the program.
Perfect. I'll just take 2 more questions from the panelists, and of course we'll go to the questions from the chat box as well. Miss Eléonore, if you could just quickly tell me, typically as a student, in a day, when do my classes usually start, and till how long do they go on? And is it only from Monday to Friday, or do we have to study on weekends as well?
Well, this is a tough question, because it's quite hard to say that there is a normal day at HEC or in our programs, because also the student has quite a lot of elective courses. So usually, yes, they can have courses throughout the week, from Monday to Friday, from 8:30 to 5 or to 8 in the evening. But it can really depend according to the courses that they're going to take. According to the courses that they're going to take. But in general, they have their one afternoon free for extracurricular activities on campus. which is also what I was saying previously. It's because we encourage students to work on their network with other students from other programs and to develop their other skills, soft skills, thanks to these activities. And they also have quite a lot of company projects and group work. So this can happen at night, well, in the evening. This can happen during the weekend. So yes, it's quite hard to say that we have one specific kind of day.
Great. I had one last question, but before I ask that, I'll take a few questions from our students because, we're slightly over the limit right now. So one common question over here to all three of you is starting with Professor Benyayer, followed by Professor Busnel and Ms. Eléonore as well. So for students who are actually doing masters right now, are there PhD opportunities available in your respective institutions?
Yes, there is a PhD program at ESCP.
Perfect. And Professor Busnel?
Yes, we also have PhD opportunity. We offer some PhD program. We have a really strong relation between the teaching part and the research part. So we have several research labs in the 3 campus of IMT Atlantique. And so the idea is that for students who are interested in continuing in PhD, we can create for them like a PhD track, and on which they won't go into the industry for their last internship, but they will do their internship into a research laboratory, either in our institution or in another institution in France. And then they can, after that, continue in PhD in our research lab. So yes, we have some specific research projects, specific research courses that train them before going to a PhD.
Right. And Ms. Eléonore?
Yes, we do also offer a PhD, but also again, to be very honest, the aim of our master's program is not to prepare students to pursue a PhD. PhD are a bit apart, but of course, if they are interested in PhDs, they can contact my colleague in charge of PhD.
Okay. So my next question here is that, so of course, from the French government, of course, we offer various scholarships to students. There are many questions based on scholarships. Firstly, are there any scholarships available, the institutional scholarships? If so, what are the parameters? What should they look out for? And do you have any tips for the students who are looking out for the same? Starting with Professor Benyayer.
We don't have specific scholarship. We have some partners. So, for example, if you came from an institution in which we have some collaboration, strong collaboration, and so we have an MOU. For example, in India, I think we have several partnerships with IITs, with I see in Bangalore, in VGTI in Mumbai, etc. Then you can we can reduce the price of the registration, but we do not offering full scholarship in our program.
Professor Benyayer?
Yes, pretty much same for us. We do have some institution scholarships. They are partial scholarships. They never cover the whole tuition fees, and they are based on, let's say, on merit and academic excellence, of course, and the reality of the needs, of course, of the students. Both criteria apply.
Ms. Eléonore?
Yes, well, at HEC we offer 2 main scholarships for students, the HEC Foundation Scholarship and the Women's Eye Potential. They are merit-based, and the students, if they are admitted in our programs, they are automatically reviewed for the scholarship. So nothing to do from their side. As it's merit-based, it will be based on their application as a whole and the interview results as well. and the amounts of the scholarship can vary. The only difference with the Women's Eye Potential, of course, is that you need to be a woman, but it's exactly the same process. And what we usually recommend students to do in addition to the scholarship offered by the school is to have a look at Campus France website, because I know that according to the countries, but you offer quite a lot of scholarship opportunities as well.
Okay, so I have one question specifically for HEC. So the student would like to know, are there any summer programs in data analytics that are available?
We do offer summer programs, but to my knowledge, we don't have one for the moment dedicated to data analytics. It's more finance, marketing, luxury, and this kind of summer school program. But for the moment, none of them is related to data analytics. But who knows?
Great. Professor Benyayer, I have a student who says, he's highly passionate about big data. He has a bachelor's degree in, let's say, management, but he doesn't feel he has the foundation to apply for your program. So are there any prerequisite requirements that you would like to suggest if the candidate shows a lot of interest in your program?
When selecting the students, we don't select the students based on their coding skills, meaning that this is not a criteria we use to select our students, even for the interview or even after when offering them the possibility. Which means that we don't expect our students to have any significant knowledge on the technical side of big data and business analytics. However, for their own comfort and in order for them to have a comfortable enough start in the program, we recommend that the students that don't have prior knowledge of coding use the summer to get familiar with those R and Python languages, so that when the school starts, at least they're not totally lost and they can. But that's not a prerequisite. That's not a formal prerequisite when we select the students.
Great. Professor Busnel, if you could take this question. So I have a student who's asking whether to apply for your program, is it necessary to have any prior work experience, or would a fresh undergrad would also fit the criteria to apply?
No, we don't require that people need to have work in industry before coming in our program. For sure, it can give some specific skills that make their profile very interesting for us if they have done it. But it's not a prerequisite. The only prerequisite is to be graduate by a bachelor and to having, for sure, a very good mark because we select the student essentially on the curriculum.
Okay. The next question is for Ms. Eléonore. So we spoke about the prerequisite of having a GMAT. So someone wants to know, typically, what is the score that you generally look at for shortlisting a candidate with the GMAT score?
Yes, it's a very common question that we have from students. To be very honest, we don't expect a minimum score because, as I was mentioning it during the panel, but we have a holistic approach, and it's really the well combination between the professional experiences, the extracurricular activities, the academic excellence, competitive management test score, and the motivation that is going to be important, which means that if this management score is a bit weaker, it can be offset by a stronger element of the application. But I know that students want a number, so I'm going to give the average score that needed students, and it's 710. So it can be a good target for them when it's trained for the exam. We have a closer look at the quantitative section of the test, but once again, it's an average, which means that we sometimes accept students with less, and we sometimes accept students with more.
Great. Thank you. I think those are pretty much the questions. If you look at the total questions that we have received. Before we actually end the webinar, I'd like to ask my final question to Professor Busnel and, of course, Professor Benyayer. What exactly do you feel is the future of big data? Starting with Professor Busnel, yes.
It's a very difficult question because 10 years ago, big data does not exist. And 20 years ago, smartphone does not exist, and social networks and the internet as we know it does not exist. So imagine what will be the IT and what will be our digital environment and the impact in the society of the digitalization is for me very difficult to say. What I want to say is maybe the importance of the artificial intelligence inside the big data solution that create really actually a rise of and a momentum of interest. So for the next years, for sure, all this new research and new activity around AI and big data will definitely be the most interest. But saying for me, what will be big data in 10 or 20 years is absolutely impossible to answer.
Wow, great. And your insights, Professor Benyayer?
Well, I won't do better than my colleague, right? Predicting is always a tricky part. And as he said, some very famous researchers in 2004 concluded a literature review saying that understanding the human language was an out-of-scope objective. And 10 years after, the software to translate words into text are now producing very interesting results. So predicting is a very impossible task. But however, what we can see as trends that are, let's say, likely to grow in the future is, I would say, the trend to analyzing non-structured data, text, images, video flows, thanks to the progress of 5G networks and the progresses in artificial intelligence. And maybe that's something that is likely to grow bigger in the coming years. And the second aspect is that those topics will be more and more connected to business processes and the way company operates, as it is already the case, for example, today in insurance, where some companies are automatically pricing and charging and paying their clients automatically through artificial intelligence. Of course, the situation will also be defined by regulators, because you know that there are a lot of challenges associated with those technologies, and will also be framed by social concerns, civil society, NGOs, activists, because when it comes to personal data, when it comes to competition laws, when it comes to privacy, it's a civil society matter. So I would say, to conclude, that we cannot predict. Well, it's hard to predict, but we have all a role to play to shape what would be the future of big data in the coming years.
Great. So I think that's a wrap. Thank you very much to all the panelists that joined us. Thank you to all the students for attending this webinar. And I wish you all a great day ahead. And of course, students that are joining us please continue exploring our Choose France Tour event. Of course, it's happening all the day today, and you can tune in tomorrow as well. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.